Hello, everyone. It's Darlene Corbett here, the host of Tap into the Power of You, now called Get Unstuck Now, right now. Easier said than done, isn't it? It's been a few weeks. I got two in last month. It was a short month. I'll use that as an excuse, but that's not really the excuse. I plan on getting one more in for February. I was hoping. Unfortunately, I couldn't do it. I had a lot to do. Even though I have a lot to say, I have a lot to do outside my podcast. So it's March, and I'm aiming for three. And if I get more, I'll be very pleased. How about that? I'm really enjoying having this on video also. Now, for those of you who are listening to me, you can go to my YouTube channel and you'll see me, not just hear me, at Darlene Corbett. I forget now the URL. Just, Darlene Corbett. Get unstuck today. You'll find me if you look hard enough. It's funny. I don't know if it's because my video was on podcast not last time, the time before, but there was a lot of views. And I don't know if it was the subject matter or what I had to say in general, or because I was putting these videos on my podcast. I stopped doing that because the only ones that allow it really are Apple. I think iHeart will still upload it, but many of the others won't. And they told me at Libsyn, thank you, Libsyn, that you might eventually see Spotify do it. But right now, it's just little old Apple. Thank God for Apple. I think they have the largest podcast groupings of all. So you can find me on YouTube, everyone. I'm going to say this at the beginning of all my podcasts, and I'm taking a sip of water now. So those of you who are watching will see it. But today, there's always something to talk about. Like I said, I have so many things to talk about. I also have so many things to write about, but I can't do anything really fresh for Biz Catalyst, 360 Medium. I can't because I'm in the middle of, I told you, a major writing project. And I'm not sure how often I'll be writing articles going forward. I really like these big, robust projects, but they take a lot of time. They take a lot of thought. They take a lot of creativity. So we'll see. I mean, if anything, I will probably always write for Biz Catalyst. Medium, we'll see. There's not many more. 60 and Me, I don't write often for them. They're very kind and very patient. I owe them one also. But right now, my heart and soul and mind is in this writing project. All right. Now, what do I want to talk about today? It's what I wasn't going to talk about, but since it's arisen again, another suicidality topic, unfortunately, but I am in mental health. I'm a mental health professional. And it's not only one of therapists' greatest fears, it's one of our greatest sorrows if we see somebody try to kill themselves. It happened once for me, long ago, when I was first in private practice in another part of the state. It was most disheartening, not in Needham either. Extremely disheartening. I know I've mentioned that before, and I hope that never happens again. I hope it never happens to anyone I see. I'd like to say I hope it never happens to anyone, period, but that is wishful thinking. But it does seem to be on the rise. So I'm talking about, again, now I'm talking about Katie Myers, or Myer. Again, beautiful, spirited, talented, obviously bright because she went to Stanford. And just like that, she's gone. I was looking for more information that no one seems to have, except the parents were interviewed with much sadness. The mother was wearing her daughter's shirt or sweatshirt to keep her scent on her. You understand that. You do. When my mother was dying, it's a whole different thing. It's the cycle of life, and a parent should go before their children. But someone said to me, a friend of mine, Naomi, said, breathe in her scent. And I never forgot that. And I still can smell my mother's scent. So this lovely woman, I don't know how lovely she is, but a sad woman, has to bury her child, and no parent should have to do that ever, whether it be suicide or other reasons a child dies. So what happened to Katie Myer, this captain of the soccer team? What occurred? Well, it sounds like she defended somebody. This is what I'm gathering, and I could be wrong. And she was going to receive disciplinary action as a consequence. And that led to her suicide. Again, impulsive, methodical. Now, the methodical can be very short, but you do have to plan it. It's not just you're going to go, I want to disappear and you're gone. But to go through it is the impulse. And just try to grab that person, and 5 minutes later, 2 minutes later, 1 minute later, 30 seconds later, you can stop it. If only she had reached out, if only. Recently, I see a lot of people, all kinds, all ages, and I'm working with a lovely person who is very hard on themselves. I'll just say that. And they say they don't want to give up in the arena they are working on, yet they feel desperate if it doesn't go the way they want. And I looked at them and they laughed. I said, so you'll give up on this. No, so you'll never give up on this. And you'll never give up on that, but you'll give up on your life? And she laughed. And I said, yes, listen to the absurdity of that. I want to talk about collateral beauty, which I've written about in my book, but I want to mention, along with this horrible defeat in life, which suicide really is, it's the final defeat. There's no hope. There's a lot of despair in general, and it's not just the pandemic. I think that exacerbates it, but it's not just the pandemic. There is, at my age, and even younger, I think that's why I started this podcast. Again, I'll reiterate that. This surrender that nothing is going to be good now going forward after 45, 50, 60, that either it's not going to get better or it's all downhill. I've heard this theme in the last few weeks from a few people. And I just say, you cannot believe that. It's got to get better. There is a new chapter in all of our lives. Now, as you get older, health is a concern, obviously. It does affect people's outlook on life. Health of themselves, health of a loved one. I understand that. But as someone that has disabilities all around me, as someone that worked with a man that was paralyzed at 17 and never gave up hope until he was taken from us, who never believed in killing themselves, I never forget that. This is someone that never gave up, that possibly they would be able to walk again. Unfortunately, their body gave out, and now I hope they're smiling from afar, full-bodied, full, in whatever form that is, full everything. They were full everything anyway. Their body may have not worked, but everything else did. Their heart, soul, and mind worked. Collateral beauty visits us. Should I say the darkness, where it's hard to see collateral beauty, visits us constantly in life. It's life is a roller coaster ride. It's not an easy trajectory to navigate. And many of you know, it's not the chapter of, where is my book? It's behind me. Stop Depriving the World of You. I will give it a shout out, which is also on Audible, which I've noticed people are buying, and I'm very honored, not just in paperback or Kindle. But I wrote it, chapter 3, after seeing, and I've said this many times, but I'll say it again because it keeps recurring. Will Smith, Edward Norton, Helen Mirren, the death of a child prompted Helen Mirren's message, you need to look for the collateral beauty. And I do think that's true. We have to keep looking for the collateral beauty. And remember, and I may have said this before, a small flicker can light up a room. It's dark, you can't see a thing. And then that flicker of light changes everything. And then the flame can get brighter and expand. We must look for the collateral beauty, because life is full of those horrors. I remember reading, and again, I may be repeating myself, but I don't remember the time I said this, so does it matter? A few years ago, maybe more than that, a woman, they were divorced, her and her husband, her parents and her children, 3 daughters were at the house, and somehow the house lit on fire. Now, her parents and her daughters all perished. Talk about darkness. I don't know how much worse it can be. I mean, how do you go on? But she did. Long after, not too long ago, I saw that she kept searching. She talked to priests and rabbis and anyone she could to try to make sense of the nonsensical. And I don't remember I think it was the rabbi that gave her words of wisdom, but somehow it helped her go on. She eventually married again. She said she stays away from playgrounds, but I think the rabbi said something to the effect, you will always be their mother. Now, this woman's obviously resilience and tenacity bounds, but truly, how do you go on? I'm looking and I'm seeing something's, looks like I can't see without my glasses. So if it comes up again, I'll put my glasses on, but I think it might be a little unstable, the Zoom. So I hope this is working. Collateral beauty. We must look for the collateral beauty. It's imperative. So I say to my lovely people that say, what's the point? What's next? You have to keep going. There's always something next. And I'll leave this subject matter with this. And I've talked about this before, but I'm going to say it again. A 95-year-old woman I read about, she was very depressed in a nursing home, and her son belonged to Toastmasters. He wanted to do something to get his mother to help spark her. He took her to Toastmasters, and she lit up, and she participated. And her depression decreased or submerged totally. I don't remember much about it, but I'll never forget the story I read about it in Toastmasters. So it's an example of sometimes it's one change that can open that flame ever so much, let it expand. And that's what that lovely woman, I say lovely, I have no idea if these people are lovely, but she felt lovely at least. And she was able, she died not long after, with a nice way, not depressed. And I was going to write about this woman and speak about this woman. I think her name is Lorna Page. And I may be incorrect and I'll get it right for the program notes. But this is a woman that wrote a book at age 90. I believe she was British. Not only did the book get published, why did she write this book then? She wanted to give her friends in nursing homes a place to live that was better for them. What a gift. She gave the world a gift in her writing, and she gave her friends a gift. How about that? I think it's Lorna Page. I'll look it up. And if it's not, well, you'll see it again in the program notes. But her first name was Lorna. Finally, I want to talk about traditions and foundations. And I'll use many traditions as a foundation for life. Traditions. I'm not going to talk about anything political. I'll just leave it over there. But I think that I'll use marriage. The institution of marriage has been around for centuries. It is a foundation. It is a strong foundation. It's steady. It's sturdy. Now, sometimes you get cracks in the foundation. There has to be changes. And you have to, I think you call it spatting it, or I don't know, but you fix the cracks in the foundation, but you don't throw away the foundation. You don't knock it down. It serves a purpose. Marriage is the foundation for family. It gives stability. Now, the cracks, never allowing people to get divorced. No. There are times people should get divorced. There are times, and in the Catholic religion, for those of you who don't know, the 3 A's, I believe, are abuse, adultery, and addiction. Not in that order. But abuse can be masked sometimes. And so, even though people cannot see the bruises, they're mental bruises. I don't know. I actually wrote for someone once that wanted to remarry in the Catholic Church. And I wrote for her to get an annulment. I think she did eventually and was able to marry in the Catholic Church. Now, but sometimes, the Catholic Church is not going to look at some things that are what causes divorce. Excuse me. So people need to get divorced. That's where we now have laws that do not force people to stay married, especially women. Women have suffered more. Some men do too, but more women, way back, they couldn't get divorced, or, they were controlled, or they lost everything to their husbands. That's all changed now, at least in the United States. So I should really clarify that, the United States. But I think with that said, there's also almost a cavalier attitude about marriage now. Oh, I can just get divorced. Oh, I don't have to stay married. Well, you really should work at it. It's a major commitment. Children or no children. And yes, maybe sometimes you have to separate. But if you're giving it your best shot, then albeit, all for it on an albeit, all, you know what I mean? Get divorced if you've given it the best you can. And no one has to be a part of abuse, any abuse. And, it's interesting. I'll never forget. I used to do some evaluations for people for weight loss. This is many years ago. And I remember it was very much a pattern that people wouldn't get divorced for abuse. They get divorced for adultery. I always thought that was strange because abuse is a betrayal. It's a different kind of betrayal, but it's a betrayal. So I'll just leave that there. But the other thing I want to mention is because we have more and more babies being born outside of marriage, and the couple that do not get married. And I don't understand that. I don't think it's the best thing for a child. That's my opinion, based on all the years I've seen. People will say, well, I don't want to get married because my parents got divorced, or I'm afraid I'll get divorced. And I challenge that. And I have said this before, and I'll say it again. You get in a car, even though car accidents happen on a regular basis, people get killed. Many people would say, yeah. Do you fly in a plane? A few people might not. Sure you do. There's many risks in life that we continue to take. I think it's important not to negate that marriage is a foundation that should never be eliminated. It is the best foundation for a child. Some people can disagree with me. That's fine. But I have seen what's happened when people have a number of children outside of marriage, sometimes with different parents. It does not work. It causes instability. It causes sometimes mayhem. It causes neglect, abuse. Not always, so please, I'm not putting this as a blanket statement, but many times marriage has a place. It's a foundation that should not be played around with. If you're going to live together, why not get married? That piece of paper will make you work harder at it. Second marriages fail more than first. I understand that. It's very difficult. You've already got baggage. But if you're going to embark on another marriage, work at it. Ensure that person, as much as you possibly can, is right for you. But don't give up on foundational structures. I say that metaphorically and not metaphorically, structures that we've had that stay and keep us steady, stay the course, provide stability and growth. Now, again, that they can't be corrected or modified. Certain things have to be fixed, but don't knock it all down. Don't knock it all down. So I don't have a lot to say other than that today. I may have a lot more to say, but on this subject matter, I will just say this, actually. I saw the movie West Side Story, not the recent one by Steven Spielberg. I'm mixed about wanting to see that after seeing the first. West Side Story is my favorite play I've ever seen. It was 25 years ago I saw it. I forget now why. I forgot why I liked it so much, but it was really just an amazing play. When I saw the movie, I thought, oh my goodness, the majesty of Leonard Bernstein's music and the bandwidth he offers, from the mambo to all the way those gorgeous songs of Maria and Tonight and Somewhere. It also reminded me to talk about the fragility of life. So kind of, we circle back to my beginning topic. Life is tenuous, as West Side Story shows. We must take those episodes of collateral beauty because you don't know when the end can come. Just like that. Young, older. And those that don't know what's next or worry it's all downhill or going forward or not good. And so many do. And I understand. Try to remind yourself it's a new chapter. Think about something you might want to do. Create. Accept what may be a limitation and modify. Never give up. Write your next chapter, whether you're 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. Keep going. Keep doing. Keep believing in yourself. And remind yourself, sometimes the best part of the book is the very end, that final chapter. I don't want to say it all has to be miserable before that, but I've written about this it was my first article for Biz Catalyst, the many chapters of your life. I think I changed it also, the title on my website, but don't give up. Don't give up. You don't want to do that. You want to have a long life as much as you can, as much as possible. And remind yourself when you think about not wanting to be here, life is finite. Don't worry, you won't be here eventually. It will come sooner than you want. And then when it does come, you might say, gee, I wish I hadn't wished it away. All right, everyone. That's it for now. I will be talking again soon. Keep living, keep loving, keep enjoying, keep creating. We're all creative people in whatever form that is. All right. I invite you to read my book, Stop Depriving the World of You. I invite you to go again to see me on YouTube, including my sips of water, and listen to my podcast anywhere you want. They're everywhere.